Welcome back to another episode of Who the F**k. It's the show that aims to take a deep dive in some of the acts announced for Reading and Leeds 2019. In today's video, we're looking at Royal Blood. They're a two-piece rock and roll band from Brighton. If you've never heard of them before, where have you been? But hopefully this video will help answer the question, who the f**k are Royal Blood? Royal Blood are made up of two members, Ben Thatcher and Mike Kerr. They're from Brighton on the south coast of the United Kingdom. Their genres on Wikipedia are described as alternative, rock, hard rock, blues rock, garage rock, and stoner rock. Not quite sure what stoner rock is, but I'll go with it. I would also put in a little bit of a nu metal influence. They have this really big, bolshy, loud sound. Reminds me of the kind of beats and riffs of people like Wes Borland from Limp Bizkit. But musically, I think they have way more of a kind of Queens of the Stone Age. Death from Above 1979. Rage Against the Machine. Foo Fighters. The White Stripes. And then classic rock sounds from people like Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, and Thin Lizzy. They met in 2005 as teenagers, and for a brief period they were both members of a band called Flavor Country. Kerr played both keyboard and guitar. I can only assume that Ben was the drummer, there's not much information there. They formed in 2013 after Mike returned from a year abroad in Australia. He was working with another musician, Matt Swan, and he called that project Royal Blood. Ben would collect him from the airport upon his return to the UK, and the two decided to form a band. Initially they mentioned that they couldn't get a band in Worthing for months, and ended up playing plenty of open mic nights with singer-songwriters. They would head to Brighton Electric, a rehearsal space in Brighton with many different studios and rehearsal rooms, to develop their sound. Other clients of Brighton Electric include The Cure, Foals, The Maccabees, Nick Cave, and Architects. It was during this time that they also signed a deal with Warner and Chappell Music, and signed to the same management company as the Arctic Monkeys. In 2013, the Arctic Monkeys headlined Glastonbury Festival, and Matt Helders, the drummer of the band, was wearing a Royal Blood t-shirt before they even released their first single. In November of 2013, Royal Blood would release the song Out of the Black. A record that certainly caught my attention at the time, and in February of 2014 would release the song Little Monster, something that I think swept everyone off their feet. Most definitely the soundtrack to Reading 2014. In 2014 they were also shortlisted for the BBC Sound Of, including other artists Sam Smith, Sampha, Banks, Chance the Rapper, George Ezra, FKA Twigs, Jungle, Kalela, and MNEK. They get that pretty right every year, I have to say. They released their debut album eponymously titled Royal Blood in August of 2014. I rushed straight to the shops and bought it on vinyl, and was the fastest selling British rock album in 3 years. I don't know what the other one would have been. 2011, rock album. Dunno. In late October they would go on to support the Foo Fighters along with Iggy Pop, and would continue to tour their debut album until October 2015. In March of 2016 they released the single Where Are You Now? A teaser of what was to come, and a record that was rumoured to be inspired by the TV series Vinyl. They then released their second album, How Did We Get So Dark, in June of 2017, nearly 3 years since their debut. I've always said that a band with 3 strong albums absolutely has the potential to headline that festival, something I think both them and Catfish and the Bottlemen will be doing in the coming years. Last year at the Brit Awards they announced that they were writing new music again but had not started anything yet. But it's been a couple of years since we've heard any new music, and with this quite a high set at this year's Reading Festival, one can only pray for new music by August, but they certainly don't seem like a band that are rushing into doing anything. They've got some great accolades, include shortlist for BBC Sound for 2014. They were nominated for Album of the Year in 2014 at the Mercury Music Awards. They won Best Live Band and Best New Band at the NME Awards, Best British Group at the Brits, Best British Newcomer at the Kerrang Awards, Best Live Act for the Q Awards, and Breakthrough Non-Metal Band/Artist at the GMA Awards. That's the Global Metal Apocalypse Awards. Their most popular song is a record called Figure It Out. I let it go, 'cause I won't see you later when we're not allowed to talk it out. Currently sat on 22 million hits on YouTube. I have to admit, I thought it would be higher. That being said, they do have over 2.5 million monthly listens on Spotify, so clearly they're doing quite well. This will be their third time playing Reading and Leeds. The first time was in 2014 when they played the Radio 1 stage. That tent took off. The energy in there was incredible. Definitely a highlight for me that year. I was just remember being amazed at how two people can make so much sound. The last time they played was in 2015 when they played on the main stage just before Bring Me the Horizon and Metallica, making it 4 years since they've played Reading and Leeds. This year they're back to sub-headline on the main stage on the Friday at Reading and the Saturday at Leeds, just before the 1975. And musically, there are few bands that are out there that are doing anything quite like Royal Blood. And new bands, I mean kind of late in the last 5 years. I think what Bring Me the Horizon are doing with their kind of change in sound falls into that category. Bands like Wolf Alice, Idols, Foals, and Frank Hart and the Rattlesnakes I all hold in a similar regard. But there's something about these two lads from Brighton that just gets me really excited to see them. Just listening to any song by them, they're just so good. They tick absolutely every box for Reading Festival. They're basically designed to be on that poster forever. Currently, it looks like they're clashing with both Dylan Francis and 10 Tons, but I think it's probably fair to say that we all know where I'll be, where you'll find me on that Friday afternoon. So on the likely to see scale, I'm gonna go with a 9 out of 10. What do you think? Are Royal Blood a band that you're excited to see at this year's festival? Have you seen them perform before? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section below as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.